Hey, what's going on, fam? Hold on one second. I know that's not gonna happen the whole meeting. So hold on, I'm just having some difficulties with one of my features. And yeah, it look like it's gonna be like this the whole meeting. So I'm gonna have to turn this annoying sound on so I can hear when people join because it won't let me disable the waiting room. So I'm gonna have to hit that. So all right. Let's let the let's see. Disable it right now. The settings after the meeting to do it. But yeah, how y'all feeling, man? Let's just hop right into things. It's a Sunday, and let's just get started. Let's just get started. And by watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. Now, can y'all hear me okay? Everybody's fine. You hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Cool. Let's get my audio straight. Second. That sounds terrible. Just want to make sure that I can hear you all too. I think we should be fine now. Cool. So let's just hop right into things. So this was the top call options flow from Friday. Went into Tesla, SMCI, Amazon, Netflix, Datadog, Coin. On the put side, PDD, Meta, IBIT, Nvidia, MSTR. For the week, the top call options flow went into Coin, Tesla, AppLovin, Snow, Disney. And on the put side, we had AbbVie, PDD, MSTR, Meta, and CRUS. Okay, let me just make a few notes here. Yeah, my audio, something's up with the audio over here. So it's hard for me to hear when members join. I gotta figure that out. Just give me a sec. Just taking a few notes now. Wonder if the notification went out in the community that we started. Did you guys, any of you guys see the get the notification?
Yeah, I got the notification. The your bot.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that sound is horrible. Set. It's not yours. Time, as a matter of fact, let me to put it in my ear. So that should work. Cool. So just making a few notes here, some stocks, a few stocks. All right. And sector performance, I mean, we had a pretty a steady flow, but you can see there are some stocks that stand out more than the others. Tesla was up almost 10% this past week. Amazon down almost 3%. Google was down almost 5%. Meta's up about 1%. So this is just weekly performance. Walmart was up 7.3%. So we had a lot of big movers this week, and there are a few other stocks that I'm just going to keep an eye on. And again, I didn't add any stocks to this list. What I said I was going to do, I was going to pull up the I was going to actually just pull up the options went. It was too many people to highlight this week because we had such a great week. And so I said, you know what, I'll just pull up the options wins channel and just kind of go through the channel. Just briefly go through the channel just to see what we have in there because we had a lot of success this week. A lot of members had success. So, just a lot of traders in here. Just going through a few of them. That was a snow trade where for from a $278 prop, $270 to 1,700, so almost 1,800. I'm not gonna go through all of them. One guy, one member made $1,100 on Thursday. It's 1 day profits. We got Brian here, had a nice profit on DE. Not gonna go through all of them, but just going through. Just a shout out to the members. Snow was a big trade. You can see here a lot of snow trades and DEs here. Another shout out to Brian. Brian had a snow trade two about 260 to 1,400. Oster, he was in the snow trade also. He made like $5,700. Drew. So I'm not going to go, like I said, I'm not going to go through a lot of them, but it was just a lot of them that were pretty big. Wanted to kind of shout out William Simona. That was a big trade, 300 to 2,200. Target, shout out to Target, it's 330 to 2,300. Some more William Simona profit. So yeah, I'm not going to go through a whole lot of them. Another Oster, he on a meta trade made $3,600. That's some pretty good um profits in here. So um eh, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through it. I ain't gonna go through too much. It was a lot of wins in that channel on Friday. So well for the week. So didn't want to really go through too many of them. Just wanted to, I didn't know, said I wasn't going to highlight that. And again, we're still I can't wait to do the profits for the month of November. We haven't gotten there yet. And we haven't gotten there yet, but we still on October. Still, just still got the profits up for October. Let's see if we can come close to this profits. And again, we hit just about 6,000 for the month of October. And again, this was one contract per trade, and these are net profits, so they include the losses in here too, as you can see. You see losses in here too. So these are net profits, and on the 250 membership, that was a 2,300% ROI, right? So again, let's see what we can do for November. We still got some time left. All right, lessons learned recap. All right, so I'm gonna kick this off, right? And I'm gonna go over to a chart. It's going to switch over to a chart too. But yeah, so we had on Thursday going into Lotto Friday, we were in a Palo Alto trade, and excuse me 1 second. Just want to bring the chart up too, so we can kind of go over this. But yeah, we were in a Palo Alto trade, and Lotto Friday trade, and it got clapped pre-market. Before the market opened, the trade was done. So hold on 1 second. Let me just do this. Bring up the chart. So I was telling the team, like it was a trade $250 to get into that trade, and this is where. So this was Thursday. Let's go. Let's just look at the setup on it. So this is a daily chart. So each candle represents 1 day of price action, and we got a 223 right here with a bullish engulfing. Finished up here, right? So my ultimate target on this was 40. I felt like the stock could go to 408. after closing here, right? So we grabbed the 400 calls. It finished at 397. Yeah, 397.70. We grabbed the 400 calls. I was like, we can at least get the 405, but during power hour and make a like a $500 profit on that, $5 in the money with time left. And but that's not what happened. Pre-market, before the market opened, this stock gapped down several dollars. So it was, remember, it closed at 397.70. It opened at 392.60. So it was a $5 drop down on a contract that was expiring Friday. So that contract got clapped pre-market. So, if you got on Zoom with us Friday, I was just, one of the things I wanted to figure out. I'm like, what caused this stock to drop? Because I had the perfect setup. And I was telling the team, like, look, don't be discouraged by stuff like this, because I would take that setup over and over again. A 223 up with a bullish engulfing, reclaiming sustaining the 90 in May, just a really beautiful setup. And it looked like it was ready to go. Um, with on strong volume. And this was the day after. This was earnings right here. This was the day after earnings, how it finished. You know what I mean? With even stronger volume, right? So everything was set up. The setup was perfect, right? I told the team, like, I would take this trade over and over again. So, but I wanted to unpack and figure out what happened. I figured it had to be something news related. So I went and did some research and saw that they got price target downgrades or whatever. So they got some price target downgrades before the market opened, and that caused the stock to gap down, and the rest is history. But I wanted to kind of unpack this a little bit more, though, to kind of give the tell just for new traders can get an idea why we got certain rules in place for Lotto Friday or anything that's associated with a lotto. You know what I'm saying? But specifically Lotto Friday, because you'll see these more often. Um, Lotto Friday trade is a trade that is 0 days to expiry, meaning you're swinging into or you're getting the contract that day and it expires that day. So it has no time on it. And there is a Greek called theta. And this Greek called theta is a option seller's best friend. So if you're someone who sell options for a living, you want contracts with a lower delta and a higher theta, because theta is time decay. It's going to burn the premium off that contract. And I always tell people to look at options like a GPS. If the stock if it says it's going to take you an hour to get to DC from from Baltimore, right? Take you an hour to get to DC from Baltimore if you're doing 60 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden you hit a roadblock where they got the traffic stopped for a second. Or you just stop going 60 miles an hour and you start going 40 miles an hour. It's going to recalculate the time it's going to take you to get there. So the Greeks do the same thing. So once the stock slows down, now the Greeks got to recalculate. And so if a delta that was now $40 per dollar move in the stock is now $20 per dollar move in the stock. You know what I'm saying? And you got a theta that has to kind of get higher now too. And the theta is like $150. So that's why it burned the whole contract up. So the stock would have had to move like a good $5 or $6 just to get back to probably just get like $150 back on that. You know what I mean? Because it was the delta had dropped all the way down to like 20. But anyway, it's a Lotto Friday. So, we sometimes things happen that you can't account for when you're swinging overnight. So this goes for earnings or any type of trade you're swinging overnight, right? So you can't account for that. So I always tell people, when you're swinging overnight, and especially something called a lotto, you go really light. You know, think about how much money we made this past week, and how much money we made on Thursday heading into Lotto Friday, right? So just considering those things, I still only grabbed one contract for the Lotto Friday one, because my thing is this: if I wanted to play bigger and grab more contracts, I would have done that after we cleared, 400 and some volume came in there or something like that. And I can control when the market is open, because when the market is open, if something doesn't look right, you can back out. But it's almost like once the market is closed, there's nothing you can do. Even when the market open, you can have a stop loss set or anything. Say I'm gonna set my stop loss to only lose 30% in the cut. But if this stock gaps down and it's down 70%, what is your stop loss going to do? Nothing. It's nothing they can do about it, right? So that's why it's important just to I always tell the team in the options trading Bible that you're going to take losses. So I always say, don't use more than 25% of your total available cash for trading. But I mean, on a Lotto Friday trade, you want to use even less, because if you die, you got 4 more lives left. But some people, you can have a really big week and just feel like you can't miss. So then you say, you know what, I just made $2,000 in a day. You know what, I'm gonna put up 1,000 on this Lotto Friday trade, and then the whole trade get clapped, and now your head hurt when you should have just went light on that, because your recourse, there's no recourse there, and you want to just be light on them. I just want to make sure that we pointed this out, because a trade like that ain't gonna stop me from trading setups that work like 90% of the time, 95% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I just wanted to kind of focus on. So we can shake off a loss like that because of the fact that we went light on it, because it was a Lotto Friday. It was marked as a YOLO, and it has 0 days to expiry on it. And you got to learn these Greeks, because I'm telling you, when we buy options contracts, KK, what's the lowest delta that we looking for on an options contract?
30. 30. Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry.
I see my PC is acting up. Can y'all hear her?
Yeah, I heard her. I
Okay,
heard her.
they can hear
She
you.
said
Yeah,
30.
he said 30.
That's just
Yeah,
my
30.
PC. My bad. That's just my system, KK. But they should be able to hear you though. Switch over to here. Yeah. So I mean, did anybody else understood? Y'all understand? Uh, did y'all hear what she said?
Yeah, she said the Trading Bible 101, 30 Delta.
Exactly. All right, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, now I can hear you. I switched over my audio in my ear. I can hear now. Great. So yeah, so 30%. So that's a 30% probability of the contract finishing in the money. It also means for every $1 increase, if you're in the call option, that contract goes up $30 for every $1 increase. Now, as the contract grows, obviously, or the stock goes up, the Greeks recalculate, and the delta gets higher because of its cousin. Gamma kind of helps it goes higher. We can talk about that another time, but you can also look in the options university and get that information too. But yeah, so these Greeks are important, and that's why like we got a lot of my better, I'm gonna say better, but like some of my veteran traders, they won't touch a trade that has Lotto Friday attached to it, because they just don't trade Lotto Friday trades. They don't trade anything that has Lotto associated with it at all, and that's a cool thing. You gotta have. We always looking for reasons not to trade, right? But like I said, this setup was perfect, and if it wasn't for that news, those contracts probably would have went north of $600 per option. You know what I'm saying? So I would trade this setup again and again and again. But just gotta want the team to just be apprehensive and stuff like this, and just be careful with anything that think about it before you just ready to jump in the trade. Just because I'm alerting the trade, that doesn't mean that we got control over something that happens overnight. Like I said, when those price target downgrades came out, they sometimes, like normally after earnings and stuff like that, we would get those price target downgrades or upgrades the day after, right after earnings. We didn't get them that day. We didn't get those. That one that came out by HSBC came out that Friday morning. So I just want the team to just remember, count to those things, and count for those things, and just kind of be mindful that we can't control everything that happened in the market when you're swinging. So you just want to be mindful and just don't go crazy on these contracts, because you can. But yeah, I posted it in the chat. Hold on one second. I got this screen and it's just working my way through it. But yeah, I posted this in the chat when I found out that new Palo Alto setup was flawless. The gap down was caused by HSBC price target downgrade, something beyond control. Fortunately that clapped the full trade. So just try to just make notes of this. So just as a team, you can remember like, oh yeah, I remember. Not just to remember when something happens, but just to kind of be mindful of that you have no control over what happens in the market when it's closed. It could be, it can be news of a war, anything that could happen. And so you want to go light when you don't have no control. The only time I'm loading the boat is when the market is open, because I can just say at any time, you know what, I want out. Like, like, don't let me out. And you got to stop the car and let me out. So before anything goes wrong. But once it's too late, there's nothing you can do about it. So but yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Just a recap from last week. Anybody got any thoughts or lessons learned or from last week?
Oh yeah, I go. So I had a great week last week, aside from Friday, and due to my own error. But Friday, I had a good lesson learned because I didn't stick to my strategy. So I had for Ross, it was my biggest position going into the pre-market because we were in the money already, and I had put I found a resistance level at 155.52, and that's where I was going to take my profit at. And then we got up there within the first minute, and when we got there, I didn't stick to my strategy because we blasted. So I'm like, well, let me let it breathe, and letting it breathe turned into the stock pivoting and going the complete opposite way. So I didn't get my max profits.
Okay, cool. KK, you got any thoughts on Ross?
I mean, so okay, so we always say earnings play different, and different earnings do different things, but you do try to look for consistency through one stock and how that stock moves, and that's Ross. Every time we've played earnings, it does exactly what it just did. It's going boom, it pop, and then it just dropped. So I take profit right off the top off Ross because it's done it every single time. So sometimes we just gotta watch for those type of things.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what I would say about that. But I was just to even add on to what you were saying earlier, with Palo Alto, things like that. That's why it's so like one thing that Antoine always is promoting for us to do is do our research, be reading about things. I love to do that. That's what my job is anyway. But I love to go and just be reading articles and seeing things and bring them back to the group because that might have been something we caught had we been looking for it, or we might have seen it and we could have talked about that in the group and people would have probably just boom, I would have got out anyway. I would have got out that play right at market open, just seeing how it was moving pre-market. But everybody does things differently. But I definitely,
that's true.
like
I
I
mean,
said
so
in the
but
chat,
yeah, so KK, so basically, yeah, like so my bad. So were there any other thoughts about that?
no, I was just gonna say, one contract equals Friday, Lotto Friday for me if I even play a Lotto Friday. Like I'm doing one contract and that's it. Cause just never know.
Just never know. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, and so yeah, it's just one of them things that you learn after a while. But like I said, everybody's trying to rush to get rich, and it's like you got to have some patience on this. It takes some consistency. Then you can actually grow, add to your positions and stuff like that. But no, J Rock, what you said, that was solid. What you said. I mean, you can't remember every single trade, you know what I'm saying? Like but me, that's my job. So I'm like, and then me and KK had this conversation plenty of times. Now we don't always play Ross, but but when we do play it, even if I don't play it, I go back and look and see how it played and what the price action was and what it did. So, but pretty much they can have a great earnings, but they didn't have a really good earnings. The margins were good though, and kind of popped. So that was when I missed the profit taking because I ended up waking up a little late that morning. Um, I was up at like 5 a.m. that morning. I sat down for like a few minutes and I woke up and it was late. But I ended up still getting out of that Ross call at a little over break even though. But I missed the whole profit on that. And but yeah, that it happens sometimes. But yeah, but it's just one of those things where with the earnings we could and then we could and if we ever do earnings or something like that, that can be a conversation that we have about like any consistencies with certain things. Now, again, we don't compare all earnings to the same, every earnings move differently, every situation, every setup, every, whatever the fundamentals were, how what the energy was on the earnings call and whatever the guidance was, different things that kind of plays into those situations. But yeah, I've seen them blast through every metric they had, and then it still did the same thing at market open. So yeah, but just those things that just it's trading for a while. You're going to figure out more things. But like you said, you had a setup and you had a plan. But that's just the either the FOMO or that gambler gene in us, like you just feel like, I'm gonna miss out on something and you don't take that profit. And it's like it, but you remember those things. That's why I like having these lessons learned. And a lot of people don't like to, and just leading by example, people don't like to talk about their losses. People like to say, oh, all we do is win. And I tell my traders all the time when they say, you don't miss, we don't miss. I'm like, look, we do miss. We don't miss this often, or we don't take as big a loss when we miss because we are humble enough to know, like, you can miss. So when you don't have full control over something, you need to go light or just be conservative. So that way you can, to live a trade another day and build confidence, because there's one quote that, that, that Rob, the guy that created the strat, came up with. Rest in peace to him. He said, he said something like, he said, I know I got the quote in here somewhere. Basically, he said, a lot of people they aren't dumb, like most traders aren't stupid, and they aren't, they don't have any problems learning or anything. The issue is they're trading with real money and they run out of money before they learn how to trade, so and and paper trading is not going to help you. That's what I'm talking about now. I just, when his quote was already done, and I butchered it, but I'm basically saying now, but like paper trading won't help you, because paper trading, I tell my traders, if you're going to paper trade, it should be only used to, if you're using a new platform that you never used before and you don't know how to maneuver the platform, you use paper trading for that. But the psychological effects that comes with trading, you're not going to get that from paper trading, because, of course you're going to hold longer and let your runners run because it's paper money. Of course you're not going to, it's okay to say, what, my stop loss got hit, I'm gonna get right out right here, because, it's paper money. All of that stuff is easy with paper money, but when your heart is in the game and it's real money, it's a totally different situation. And like I said before, the first time I traded, with that first time I grabbed 10 SPY contracts, I remember how a 10% move down made me feel. And I didn't like that feel. So for a while, I didn't trade with that many contracts, because it don't matter how much money you got. It's about how comfortable you are. And if you're in over your head, you're going to be frantic. You're not going to be able to focus, and it's not going to be a pleasant experience. You're going to miss a lot of things that you would normally catch. So you got to trade your level, and every trade ain't going to be for you. Like I said, we got traders who don't take Lotto Friday trades, because um, some people don't take Lotto Friday trades because that's beyond their risk management parameters. So they're not going to trade a Lotto Friday trade. They're not going to trade any swing trades that have less than a week on them, because of their risk management parameters and stuff like that. So you have to, and I just it's those types of things that we just really want um to uh to keep in mind. Every trade, so every alert that comes out may not be for you. And you should just stick to that trading Bible, and stick to the trading checklist, and just and stick to that how-to guide. There's a lot of things in there that we put in there to kind of help you guys get from where you are to where you need to be. And it's gonna be a lot easier. It makes the transition a lot smoother. Like, I went through a lot of things that, I took my biggest loss. Like I always tell everybody, I paid $50,000 to Meta University, so that way you don't have to fall in those same holes. So you know what I'm saying? So now we at the point where we are now, like, you don't have to do those things, because why reinvent the wheel when, we already taken those types of losses and gotten to a point where you don't have to do that. What's up, KK?
I would just like the trading checklist. Antoine will tell y'all, like, I laminated that when I first started trading, and I just, every single trade, I went through every single question. Like, I just kept doing it until that just became a part of second nature of the things that I knew that I needed to look for before I was really going to execute a trade. Because it's, you see everybody jumping in a trade and you thinking like, okay, yeah, it's going to do this and it's going to do that, but you still want to learn. For me, it's always been about learning why did he pick this trade, what was the reason that he told us to do this, so that then when I am trading on my own, I'm going to start thinking of those things too. And the trading checklist is the reason why. So I would suggest people do that who haven't, who aren't familiar with trading. Like really look at that trading checklist every time you're getting ready to get into a trade and like focus on those things because they're really the things that are making us make a lot of money.
Basically, what KK just said is follow the how-to guide. That's all she said, basically, because that's like,
Right.
follow the how-to guide. And like I tell people, I know some people don't like to read and go through these things, but the how-to guide, and just for people who are on here who are not a part of our community, you can join the free side of our community and still access the how-to guide and learn how to trade and get access to my watch list and some of the trading bots to learn how to do different things. And it's a lot of things you still have access to that can teach you how to do things that you need to do. And because everybody just want to jump into a trade and then you get clapped and trade and you don't want to trade anymore. But that how-to guide and it's going to really we laid out everything and like I said, don't just check the boxes and go through it. You want to, you go through the how-to guide, you learn adding and subtracting first. Now, just because you read it, that don't mean you're ready to move on to multiplication. Because if you don't understand the concept of adding and subtracting, then then multiplication it won't make sense to you. So that's what happens. I get a lot of messages from people saying, I went through the how-to guide and I'm still confused. I'm like, because you're just checking the boxes. You aren't understanding the concepts before you move on. Because if you don't understand, just because you read what adding and subtracting is, if you don't understand it, multiplication is just going to be confusing and you're just going to keep moving on and you just wanted to say you're at certain levels. You hear other people talking about things and then you get in a trade and we're thinking, okay, well, they already know the rules because we set those prerequisites for new traders to do this. And then I'm getting questions when a trade that was up 40% is now down, 50%. And I'm getting a question, are we still in this trade? I'm like, well, hold on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like different things that we expecting the people to know during live trading because we set them in those parameters up. I mean, and don't get me wrong, we'll help and answer questions, but you got to understand, like if everybody's waited in line and to waited patiently in line to get to the front and the start, and then you just jump the line and just start asking for help, it's just like people are going to look at you and they're going to look at you a certain way. So you got to look at it that way. People aren't being nasty to you or whatever. It's because they know you aren't following the process and you aren't taking this seriously. And we want you to make, you see how much money we're making every month and from one contract, so you can do the same thing and just don't blow it along the way. Yeah. So any other thoughts?
You say end and all.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is Abbott. On the I had a couple questions, but just to add on to your study guide conversation, I got into the group about a month ago and I couldn't recognize anything but bars on the chart and all that, but I can tell the rest of the group or guys and girls in the group right now, it's helped me understand it a lot better, actually sitting down and reading the guide and studying it, taking notes. It won't just look like a bunch of bars and lines on the chart anymore if everybody just studies it and does what you're supposed to. Instead of jumping in a trade like I did a month ago on .go, I jumped in on the first call out and I lost a ton of money. And I was actually one of those guys that asked if we were still in a trade when everybody else had pretty much cut. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the study guide thing. And then I had a question when a stock takes off, but it starts to retract a little bit. Does it, how do you deal with the emotions on that? Like your emotion chart in the study guide, how do you not get worried when it starts to retract back down, that it may not just break and drop like Palo Alto did Friday?
Okay, I'll give you a good example. So a lot of times what we do is I'll get into a trade or we'll see, or sometimes we'll be on Zoom together waiting for a trade to break down, right? And I'm gonna use this meta chart. Meta always got a setup on it, so that's why I'm gonna use it as an example. And all right, yeah, this is a good one too. So Meta right here. So let's say we were waiting for Meta to lose VWAP and break down for us to take a trade or whatever, right? And so we get that flush. And I say, well, you know what? We're going to wait for a retest first before we take that trade. You know, we're going to wait for it. It's likely going to retest VWAP again. We're going to wait for a candle confirmation. And as long as we get that candle confirmation, we'll be fine. So we get that, right? So we wait for that to happen. This candle right here, it comes up, retests VWAP, and it rejects it. And this is a session hourly candle. So, right. And but then here's the next candle, because this one closed here, opens here, and it starts to move this way. If you don't really have a setup on your chart and you don't already have something, but we always have a plan in place. Like, you know what, it's likely going to retest this area. And as long as it just does that, so the emotions, they come in a lot of times for not having a plan. So sometimes a lot of times I'll foresee it before it happens. Tell the team, well, look, this is what could possibly happen. Um, it'll retest this area right here, and we can set a stop loss somewhere up here. But just watch, since we got in on a session hourly, we're going to have some patience and wait for that candle to close before we make a decision on what we're going to do. So then here, we got here open here, came up here, but it ended up coming all the way back down. Now, a lot of times, because this is a session hourly candle, it takes a full hour for this candle to solidify. Sometimes we have to do surgery on this candle and break it down to a 5-minute chart. But the 5-minute chart, like the Bible says, the lower the time frame, the higher the emotion. So these 5-minute charts, the 5-minute chart, it may give you an earlier signal, but it's not as solid as a session hourly, because it's only 5 minutes worth of data versus a whole hour worth of data. So if you have a plan and you understand like the market structure and how price action work, a lot of times you'll be fine. And that's why, like, especially when we're on Zoom, I'll tell the team, well, look, let's do this. And don't worry about it. As long as the trade if it holds this level right here, we may actually move back up and retest this. And if it does, I'll add to that position. So, like, for example, a lot of people go full size, and that's why they be having those emotions too. I'm like, when I see a setup that, oops, hold on. When I see a setup like that where we get that retest, I'm like, okay, that's a good opportunity to add to that position. Then we got a nice flush down here, and we got a continuation and a continuation. So that's pretty good. As long as it's just look at what the price action is doing and zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. But the time frame should be consistent with the amount of time you're planning on staying in the trade. A lot of times, or if you just had a target. So if your target gets hit, you get out too. That can be another thing. But yeah, that's how we work on it, because again, you're always going to have some emotions in the trade. But when you start trading trading your level and trading what you really can afford to trade, and not chasing the trades and getting in right. Like, for example, like KK said, a trade get called out. She want to know exactly why I got called out. Like, I can't see a person just getting an alert and just jumping in the trade and necessarily without knowing what's going on. Now, like I said, a lot of times we talk, or I'll post, if I have time, I'll post a chart letting you know exactly why I alerted the trade. But then it's like, okay, well, if he called it out here, it's, it was 150 to get in and it's like 160 now. Okay, cool. It's not that far off the entry price, and that's cool. But a lot of times I already know, or I'll tell the team, look, well, we got into this trade. If it was to pull back, it can retest this non-EMA first, bounce off of this before continuation. So we be anticipating those things, so it don't catch us off guard and have us in a state of panic where, damn, why is this coming back? That's just a little simple retest and for continuation sometimes, so as long as you didn't get in the trade in no man's land, or after it then already went up several percentages, pretty much though, I mean, most of the time those little retests won't hurt you. So that's one thing. The main thing is entry price, making sure that you're getting in when those at the right at the entry price or at support. Most of the time when we're taking a trade, if we're in calls, we're making sure we buying at support and or very close to it, and for puts we're buying at resistance or something like that. That's where I was like, for this trade, oh yeah, we got the flush down. Now, I'm just use this as an example because we probably would have gotten in that a lot earlier, but this was at market open. You can see, because it's a 930 candle. So I'm waiting for that retest here, but we would have found because this is a 930 candle, we would have found the entry on a 5-minute chart on this setup most likely. But I just wanted to give you an example to kind of answer that question. But yeah, it's going to take time.
All right, I appreciate it. I got one more question. Do y'all ever move your stop losses when a stock like climbs way up? Do you ever move them, or do you just stick with your profit targets and then just cut it at that point?
That would be the most depressing thing ever if you in a trade, right? And now your trade is up. You got a stop loss. Let's say you got a stop loss right here, right? And for puts. And this is where your stop loss is. Let's say you put it here. Let's put one here for a short trade. Let's say you put your stop loss here, and your target is down here, right? So you mean to tell me that you got your puts are all the way up? You're probably up 100% now on your puts. You're going to wait for it to go all the way up here and erase your profits? No, we call these trailing stops, right? You want to move it down. So now I'm going to move my stop down here now because I don't want to lose a certain amount of money, you know? So now I'm going to move my stop down. And as the target, as we start taking out targets, I'm gonna move it down even more. So support and resistance changes. So I'm gonna give it some margin because market makers like to hunt stops, but I'm gonna keep moving. It's called a trailing stop. So you just have to move it around. Just have to keep moving it if you want to stay in the trade, you know. But my thing is, what I say is for people who are working, who are actually working during the day, this is what I tell you, and and KK can speak to this too. This is my advice. Don't be so anxious to get into every single trade. You should find a way at market from 9:30 to at least 10 o'clock to go to the bathroom or something and find one of those comfortable stalls like the handicap one with the big with all of the extra room in there and just sit in there for 30 minutes or something. But you got to be focused. I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm saying you got to be somewhere where you can be focused for 30 minutes. That whole stop loss stuff and everything like that, that's fine. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, but if you should be watching your trades, it should not be a stop loss. Like I can't even go to the barber shop and be in a trade. I'll be, you know, I just say, you know what, I just won't get my hair cut or I'll wait until after the market closed. I'm not leaving my trades and I'm not trading. I'm not watching my trades from my phone. You know, I'm a professional trader and I don't trade from my phone. You know, I need my system. I need to see my trades. I need to see what's going on. That's not what I'm doing, you know. And so but I know KK, she won't. The most of the trades that she take are the swing trades that I call out within the last 5 or 10 minutes before the close. Well, I'll say within the last 30 minutes before the close, and where see a nice setup where I'm only swinging if I believe a stock is going to gap up or gap down, and we're going to make a significant profit by swinging. Because otherwise, we can wait for the next day because that theta is going to be higher the next day. You know, if let's say you swing a stock, right, or an option, and the contract was $300 to get in, and let's say the next day the stock doesn't move anywhere, it just stays flat, like literally opens exactly where it closed. You're 1 day less, you have 1 day less on that contract. So the theta is going to eat that contract up some. So if it was $300, now it's going to be two something just off the theta alone, you know? So if I'm swinging, it's because I believe that the stock is going to make a significant move to either to one side, you know, to whatever, you know, side I'm trading. And that's the reason why I'm swinging. Otherwise, I can wait to the next day and get that contract cheaper because the theta is going to eat it up. You know, it's time decay. So it's if I'm trading a weekly, that's 1 day left on the contract. The next day I can get it cheaper if the stock doesn't move. So I'm not swinging just for the hell of it, right? So we gotta so if you're working and you know you can't focus on trades during the day, I would only trade the swing trades, or I would set some time aside for power hour, or at least the first 30 minutes, get your money and go. And that be it. So the whole stop loss and everything, like why even be in a trade? Because like, for example, Abbott, you brought up the trade about the one that you got in when you started. That trade was up 40%. You know what I mean? That was it was I forgot what stock it was, but the company, it was up 40%. And you know, so maybe you had a stop loss or something on there. I don't know. But the whole point is just like if the trade is up 40% and you're a new trader, the options trading Bible says to take profit. So you gotta have limit orders in there too. if you secure a certain level or get to a certain profit, have it sell at certain levels too. You can do the same thing. Put a sell order in it. If it reached this price, go ahead and sell it. So throw that limit order in there too, just like the stop losses, and you'll be fine. And but yeah, that's just something I wanted to throw in there. But that was a great question too. And
Yeah, I always leave. That's my time. I block out power hour or even up to 11 just to, just in case. But yeah, I swing trade, I'm in and out, and yeah, it works for me. I mean, just because I work. So everybody has different time frames that'll work for them. But I normally don't play the trades that he calls out during the day because I know I can't watch them.
yeah, good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So um yeah, so now I'm gonna move on because we got some stuff that gotta be covered, and we got like we only got a few minutes left, so I want to kind of get through as much of it as possible. But we got a really big week ahead of us and some really good data coming up too. So first things first, yeah, thank you for the questions though, Abbott. Those I could kind of go down so many rabbit holes off those questions, but so I'm gonna start with the economic data first, and then we could so we had no Fed speakers this week, but we have consumer confidence on Tuesday. We got new home sales, GDP on Wednesday, jobless claims Wednesday, durable goods orders Wednesday, Chicago PMI Wednesday. We got PCE data on Wednesday. Damn, on Wednesday too. So we got all of this stuff coming out on Wednesday. Let me just research this again just to confirm that we got PCE data. Well, yeah, it is on Wednesday because the first is because Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we got PCE data on. Wow, we're about to have it's about to be an interesting week. And on Wednesday, we also got Fed minutes that come out at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. So remember, these are the FOMC minutes, not an FOMC meeting. These are the minutes from the last FOMC meeting that we had. And then the markets closed on Thanksgiving. So yeah, so we got a big week of data ahead of us. And I just want to make sure that everyone's on point and prepared for this upcoming week because yeah, it's just going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot to cover, and I just want to make sure that we are ready and on point. So I'm going to move on to these charts, and let me see, where am I going to start chart wise? Let me see. You know what? I'll just pull this back down here. So change my screens here, and I'm going to start with Datadog. Here. So DDOG. Now look at this chart here. Really beautiful setup on it. Now I'm gonna zoom out a second so you can get an even clearer picture of what's going on here. Here is the weekly, but I'm gonna go to the monthly so you can get an even clearer picture of what's going on here. So we broke out here. Now, I mean, it's almost certain that we're gonna close with this breakout on the monthly chart, right? And so it's just been surging. It's been surging here. So just wanted to zoom out and show y'all what was going on there on the monthly. So, but I'm looking at this trade for a Datadog, calls over 155.42 for a move. Our targets would be 155.42, 159.37, and possibly 163.65. If we were to lose 147, and we got a few targets on the put side that we could hit. We got 140. I said if we lose 147, look for 145.27, 139.40. 139.49. But look, we got it. So the gap fill is just under the first price target. So this at 143.86, we got a bullish gap fill area, and then we got the non-EMA right under the second price target, which would be at the 136.84 price level. This is a pretty good trade, and I like how we got the EMA stacked, the 9, the 50, and the 200 day all stacked up. Like this thing is set up, and we just broke out of a bullish flag here on the daily chart. So pretty nice setup on it, and the volume is intensifying. So keep Datadog on watch. Let's go over to Tesla. Let's go over to Tesla. 1 second. Gonna hit Tesla next. All right, so let's look at the Tesla chart here. So here's Tesla, man. So for Tesla, we got our first weekly close over 350, over the 350 price level since March of 2022. So this is the first close that we've had for Tesla over 350 since March of 2022. So that's a pretty big deal on the stock. So we're back above these areas. So we should be able to hold up here, but let's just see what the price action gives for this upcoming week. For Tesla, this could be a pretty good setup here too. 1 second, going back to the weekly chart here. Like having a nice weekly chart. Shout out to Tesla though, man. Tesla's been on a move lately. It's been on a tear. It's been on a tear. So yeah, this is how I feel about Tesla, man. And again, this is a weekly chart, but I'm just gonna put this back down. So yeah, over 361.53, we should be able to make a move to 170 and then 172. 17. Now on the put side, if we were to lose, now, I like when we have these ranges like this, but if we were to lose for Tesla, if we were to lose 337.70, look for a move back down to 344. I'm sorry, I said 137.7. Look for a move back down to 333, and then possibly down to, we got another gap fill, bullish gap fill area down here. That would be my next target at the 320.72 price level. But look, I'm gonna give you another bullish setup on Tesla. If Tesla was to pull back some, right, and retest this previous support right here without breaking down too much, this could be another entry for calls also. So down here at the 344, this 344.78 that I mentioned a little while ago, that'll be another place for calls on Tesla. I like the setup on this. Again, here's the weekly. We got a 222 continuation right here. And this is the monthly chart on Tesla. You see the bullish flag or the wedge breakout here on Tesla with the continuation, price continuation. It was the wrong right here. So we got a pretty good setup on Tesla here. So let's just keep it on watch. And like I said, we got a few targets that we can actually hit on this one. I like Tesla. Let me move on. I got a few stocks, man, but some are better than others. The JP Morgan chart, I think I got that charted somewhere else, but if not, just here. JP Morgan. So here we go. And I actually do have that charted somewhere else. That chart. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, we got the JP Morgan chart. And as you can see, we got a breakout. We broke out for new all-time highs again on JP Morgan. We had a resistance here. We broke out with the candle confirmation. Now, I was saying, so we talked about this Friday on Zoom as well, but you can see that in previous times we hit this all-time high, and I can go to previous like other situations where we've been at all-time highs with JP Morgan, and it's done the same thing where it come up here and hit these levels and then it rejects down or gaps down hard the next week. But we got a candle confirmation above the level, and let's just see what happens. It can come back down and just retest this breakout area and for a continuation, or it could come back down and we can get a few other moves on here for JP Morgan. The way I look at it now is I say that if for JP Morgan, if we're able to get over 249.15, I'm looking for a move up my first target. Well, I'm just saying if we get over 250, I'm looking for a move to 255 as the price target on this one. Now the put trigger would be down at 243. We lose 243, then we got a few moves down that we can actually hit on this stock, like down to 240. But what I was saying yesterday with this setup on JP Morgan is it's a few things that could happen. Let's say JP Morgan, we gap down or whatever the situation is, it comes back up and it retests this area and it comes down. It could come back down to like 245, this could pull back down to 245 and then take off again. You know, it doesn't have to come all the way back down here first, but you would fox that on a lower time frame. So, but those are just the main triggers that we have for JP Morgan right now. But again, it's at all-time highs. It closed over a its all-time high, and it looked like it's set up to go higher. I mean, let's see what let's just check out financials in general. Let's look at XLF, which is an ETF that tracks the financial sector. See, we got a breakout here on the daily on XLF right now. So we got a flag breakout here for Twitter 222 continuation, went back down here, retested the 9 EMA and took off. So we got XLF at all-time highs too right now. So we got that. Let me just off for kicks, I'm gonna look at Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs looks similar to XLF right here with the breakout. So for this one, a similar setup, you know, calls over 603.94. So let's say calls over 603.94, and the target would be 607.15. On the put side, we would play this under 594.44. We would play this down to the 9 EMA at 588, at 588.30. That would be a nice move on this, because it's been pretty much bouncing off that 9 EMA, coming back down and retesting and bouncing if we don't get that continuation. So yeah, just keep it on watch, or you can just like XLF move slower, but you can play XLF, which is the sector ETF, to avoid the extra risk associated with playing this. Let's go to Oracle. Oracle. So another one that looks pretty good right now, up here near all-time highs. So what I say for Oracle, if we can get over 194.20, the target would be 196. Now puts under 191, and for a move, now we got a few moves that this get hit to the put side. So my first target would be the 9 EMA at so like I said, under 191. The 9 EMA is at 188.65, and then my second target would be down here at 185. So but and we got a 222 reversal, but you know, the bulls, they're still out there. They're still out there. And this was a pretty and the put volume wasn't as strong. Let me zoom out and show you the weekly on it. So we got a pretty strong continuation pattern here on the weekly. So, you know, just keep this on watch, keep it on watch. Oracle. Now let me hit, I'm gonna go to Snow. Shout out to Snow, man. And everybody give Snow a round of applause. Snow broke out and took off. I like the setup on this one also. Pretty good setup here. Snow just looks really good. I don't really much to say about Snow, but what I will say, calls over 178, calls over 178.70 for a move to 183. Puts under 166.81 for a move down to the breakout area. Now, this is a thing. This stock, it can actually do a few things. Now, I'm gonna show y'all where it closed. It closed at a level right here. So it looked like they gave up a lot of the gains and stuff like that after the gap up, but it still closed at a level. So it can likely bounce right there, you know. But if it was to lose this 166.81 area, look for a move down to 161, and 166.81 down to 161. But I'm pretty bullish on this one. And let's look at the weekly on here also, so you can see what it's done. So it's right here, it finished right here at an area where it hasn't closed at in a while. Look, the last time it's closed up here was back in the last time it actually when it first got up to this level, you know, last time it broke this area was, what was this, November of 2023, but we've been up there a few times. We came down here, retested this area, rejected it a few times, but now we're right here again. So let's look for a continuation. This could be a nice, pretty big move. Now, look, remember I was telling y'all before with the other stock that we were just talking about, that there are multiple ways you can enter calls. For this one, let's say we break out a little bit and we don't really take out the trigger for calls, right? But we're holding this area right here that was previous resistance as now support and bouncing off of this, and we take off of there. You know, this can be an entry also. You know, just give us some margin to be safe. Wait for it. Look for a setup on a lower time frame. But you know, just letting y'all know, like, that's an area right here. That's a previous resistance, but that could be a new support area, and that's a pretty significant move up there from here. So just keep this on watch for possibility of a move. Now I'm gonna hit one more chart because we are over, and I just post the others. Let me see, damn, which one am I gonna choose? I got a lot to choose from. Now, if I don't like the one that I choose right now, I may choose two of them. So, but no, actually, I got it. I'm gonna cover Meta first because I forgot about Meta, and then we can move on. So, look, I really don't like the Meta chart right now. We lost we lost the 90 EMA, we lost the 50. We went back up, retested the 50, and rejected the 50. Now this is the weekly chart right here. We got an inverse hammer on the weekly. Just not really looking good right now for Meta. And we got the monthly about to close in a few days. We got a 222 reversal here and with a double inverse hammer on the monthly. And then Mark Zuckerberg does not get along with Trump. So he needs to, we got to repair that relationship if we want to make some moves here for Meta, right? But Meta's pretty bullish. The stock is pretty bullish, but overall, but you see, we're still holding this area, but we are making lower lows and lower highs. So we got to keep that in mind. So what I'll say here for Meta, if we were to lose that, we lose 490, I'm sorry, 549, look for a move back down here to 543.44, and then possibly down to 520. I'm sorry, and then 527.88. Now, if we were to actually get back up and make a move, get over 570 on Meta, we can make a move to retest that. One second, my chart is acting up. Yeah, so if we can get over 570, I'm looking for a retest of 576.61, and then possibly even higher up to like 583. But yeah, but because Meta's been playing, because think about it, although we're making lower lows, we've been playing this range though. But it's like almost a broadening formation right here. If you go back to the daily, it is a broadening formation actually. So it can go lower. Definitely can go lower, but we finished inside on a daily. Remember, a inside candle was a one candle, and a one candle was a neutralizing candle. So whatever the previous move was, a one neutralizes that. So it can go, price can go either way from a one. So let's just follow the price action. And but yeah, like I said, that was my last, but I am going to cover one more chart. American Express. American Express. Another all-time high stock right now. So, I like to stay away from stocks that are at all-time highs. Well, actually, there's one other stock I have to cover after this. So just give me a second. I totally forgot about it, and that's Intuit. I got to cover Intuit. So, just give me a sec. Got to cover Intuit. That's a pretty good setup on that chart too. So, but yeah, American Express, man. You know how I feel about stocks at all-time highs, but I just had to cover it because it's been running the last few days. We just took out the all-time high on Friday. So what I would look for here is what this stock has been doing. If you just look at the previous times where we were at all-time highs recently, we got that move to all-time high, stock gap down some, and then consolidated, broke up, and moved again. Now we're in a situation like this, very similar where we're at all-time highs. I wonder if we're going to break back down and retest this area first, or just retest the all-time high. There's a few things that could possibly happen here that we'll see very soon. But so that's what I would look for, a possible retest. But if we were to take out the all-time high and move, like if we got over that 301.92, look for a move. The target would be 305. But this is a long way down for put trigger, like puts under 292.51, and the first target would be 290.26, and then we got a bullish gap fill area down here at 287.71. But what I would do is I will wait to see if we did get a pullback, if it came down here and retested the all-time high, where the previous all-time high, and bounced off of here. This would be a good entry for calls. But if not, then you got another move down here to 292.72. So again, just keep American Express on watch. It's been quietly running like hell. And to it. start with the weekly on this one. This is Intuit. This is what it's doing right now. So again, this stock we could get a nice bounce off this area here. And this is a weekly chart. We got a 222 reversal here. Now they had a solid earnings, well, great earnings, but they missed guidance. And this is the monthly right here too. So just to show you got a bullish engulfing on a month, but they gave back most of his gains on a monthly. So the United States government already has a free tax service, online software that you can do your taxes for free on. But now all of a sudden news come out, oh, the government is doing another tax-free service for everyone, and Intuit fell off a cliff before its earnings print. So this was the first drop down right here. So we were waiting for commentary from the CEO about that and to tell us why they got it down. But what ended up happening was the CEO said that they already in talks with Trump, and they're going to try to work with Trump because the government software sucks. You know, it always has, and it's a lot of identity theft and stuff that happens, and Intuit kind of helps out with that with a lot of its with a lot of the security parameters in the software. So that was bullish, but they still missed guidance. And what they wouldn't do, they wouldn't give us their the guidance for fiscal year 2025, and investors did not like that at all. And that's why the stock continued to drop the way it did, because how you gonna guide down and then not give us any color on the guide for the rest of the year for next year, right? So yeah, but this is what happened. So we lost the 9. We went up, rejected the 9, came down here and closed just under the 50 EMA here on the daily. So what I'm looking for, if we're able to get under 639, I'm looking for a move to 631.28 and then 620. Actually, so 633, we need the 200 moving average on here. So the 633.95 would be my first target. If we were to lose 639, the 200 moving average, that would be the first price target. Then we got 631.28 and then 621.25, our 200 EMA. So yeah, that's what I'm leaving us with. Look, we got a short week, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you, a lot of market makers go on vacation, and a lot of the traders, they take most of this week off. So a lot of times the Thanksgiving week is really slow, but we're in a different times with the different market, and we're just going to have to follow the price action and see what happens. Now, remember, Thanksgiving is a little later this year. So we typically would still have that extra week, or like that week, for PCE data and all of the stuff that we're getting earlier in the week. So that could cause some intense volatility. So we will see what happens. We have no Fed speakers. So yeah, let's go with the flow and just be careful out here. That's why we have these meetings. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, bro. Have a good day.
No problem. Go to.
I appreciate it.